Spotify has a problem. Have you ever heard of these following bands? Jet Fuel and Ginger Ales, Eastern Thrills, Terry and the Dust Riders, Highway Outlaws, or Saltwater Saddles? Well, if the answer was no to any of these artists, you wouldn't be alone. Recently, they've been popping up on streaming platforms with some familiar sounding song titles. I'm sure you recognize these hits. The big problem here is that none of these artists actually exist. There's no social media presence, there's no pictures, there's no real people connected to any of them. In fact, there's no paper trail at all. There are only 2 real pictures that I found anywhere on the internet that are related to these artists. One is a picture of a different and very real band called the Bar J Wranglers. And the other one is a picture taken of 2 British people. Apparently, this was taken at a chain of clubs in the UK called Zinc. Also, these songs are most likely artificial intelligence. That's right, these songs are AI. Unfortunately, before I could take any screenshots for this video, the songs from these bands, these fake AI bands, they were taken off of all the streaming platforms, so I'm not going to be able to pull up any of the credits listed on Spotify or YouTube or Apple Music, and I won't be able to play any of the songs for you. These songs were obviously made with AI, at least AI voices, if not AI instruments as well. I have reached out to AI and music experts. The way that this situation was developing, I wanted to put this video out literally as soon as I can, so they haven't been able to get back to me yet. But if they do get back to me, or if there's any more information about this situation, I will definitely create a follow-up video. Also, take a look at these descriptions of these bands on Spotify. They look like they've literally been written by ChatGPT. One even mentions a real place in Duluth. A couple of these also contain very clearly false information, like this one that claims that members of the band are ex-Hells Angels, but that also one is a CPA by trade. Not really sure about that. Another glaring issue is that these artists are getting hundreds of thousands of monthly listeners and millions of plays on their songs. Before any of these songs were scrubbed from social media platforms, I actually made a spreadsheet. And on the spreadsheet, I put the name of the fake band, the monthly listeners, I put a link to their page on Spotify, I put the names of the songs that they had, I put the number of streams each song had, and I put the original artist of the songs that they covered. Some of the numbers that these fake AI bands are getting on here are crazy. You also can't find any of these artists by looking up their names on Spotify, but I included links and you can access their pages through the links. You'll see that they don't have any songs up anymore, but I think you can still see the number of monthly listeners that they have and check their bio and see some of the playlists they're in. It's pretty crazy. I'm going to put the link to the spreadsheet in the description below. Please go check it out. They've also been put into playlists with real artists, and not just any old playlists, but big playlists with tens or hundreds of thousands of views. So, just to recap, fake artists are stealing other artists' songs and recreating them with AI. They're also racking up millions of plays and are being put into extremely popular playlists. Here's the crazy thing though, I'm not the first person to discover this. There have been a couple of Reddit threads, one really notable Twitter thread, and an article from Whiskey Riff talking about this. I'm going to put links to all of them in the description, especially the Whiskey Riff one. Go check out that article. The guy who wrote it, Aaron Ryan, did a really, really good job. Even worse, this isn't the first scandal that involves fake or AI artists. There were some articles about it and a couple of videos that mentioned it, such as this one from Rick Beato.
Now, it's obvious to conclude, and I can't prove it though, is this is Spotify's way of using AI. They have AI songs. They attribute them to people that don't exist, like Sports Illustrated, and this allows them to take royalties that would go to musicians and keep them for themselves.
And this one from Drew Gooden.
There's a good chance this is gonna start happening anyway. No human being could ever compete with the volume of output these new tools can generate. Udio can create an entire song in the time it takes me to grab my guitar off the wall.
I'm also linking these videos in the description. Make sure to go check out Drew Gooden's video. It's very interesting. It's about AI in our daily life. And go check out Rick's conversation with Ted Gioia, which is the other video I mentioned. They talk about some really interesting stuff. If you're an artist, definitely give this one a watch. Now, why is this such a big problem? Well, first off, I don't think I have to explain to you why stealing someone's music with no credit isn't okay, but that's not the only issue with this phenomenon. Here's the big one. To put this in context, let me explain how Spotify actually pays its artists. Most people think that Spotify pays per play or per stream or whatever, but that's not how it works. What Spotify actually does is they take the total amount of money that they've earned, be it through advertisers, subscribers, and other sources of income that they make, and they pool it all together. Then they split it into two parts, about 70-30, and they take the 30 for themselves. The rest of that, the 70%, is distributed among artists depending on streaming numbers, artist pools. There's kind of a lot that goes into it. You can do more research about how they do that, but it's not really relevant to this video. The reason why having these fake artists on here is really, really damaging is because of that limited pool of money. That's that 70% we just talked about. These fake AI artists that don't really exist are taking a piece of that pie, which belongs to more deserving artists who make incredible original music. Furthermore, these artists are using music that's not their own to earn this money, and they're giving no credit at all to the original artists. Again, some of these songs are extremely popular songs from now or years ago. This isn't their music, and they don't deserve any money based off of it. These fake AI artists are a scourge on Spotify and every other streaming platform, and somebody has to do something about them. Now, I want to get into a couple theories about why this might be happening, who's behind it, etc. Another disclaimer, these are only theories and speculation, but I think some of them have some credence. There are really two main theories about why this is happening or who's behind it. The first theory is that Spotify themselves created these fake artists and are using them to kind of take a bigger piece of the pie than they originally would get with that 30%. The second theory is that a third party, be it one person who's really good with AI and producing, or a group of people, or a couple people, whoever it is, they're using AI to create these fake covers by non-existent artists in order to make a quick cash grab. Personally, I think the second theory is a more plausible theory, but I'll quickly discuss kind of the thought process behind these. The people that support the idea that Spotify's behind this might say something like, hey, these songs are being playlisted with real artists. They're also racking up millions of views and getting hundreds of thousands of monthly listeners, and Spotify hasn't noticed. Why, in this case, is Spotify taking so long to do something about it? Now, I understand that point of view. However, I think it's a third party, and here's why. The 30% cut that Spotify takes from that revenue pool is a lot more than they'd be making by creating these fake artists. I just don't think it would be worth this giant company putting any time or money into creating fake AI artists who would realistically generate very little money. It would just be a drop in the bucket for the amount of money that Spotify makes a year. Also, these accounts are pretty obvious fakes. Although there's plenty of incompetence at Spotify, I think this multi-billion-dollar company would probably do a better job than this. The last point I'd say about this is that these songs are on other streaming platforms as well. It's not just Spotify. They're on Apple Music, they're on YouTube. You can go check it out. They're pretty much everywhere. Give them a Google search. Now, what do I make of these songs being taken down? Again, proponents of the first theory, that Spotify did it, would say that Spotify is covering their tracks, or they want to make sure that the conspiracy doesn't get found. And while that would make sense, given my other points, I think it's more likely that the third-party artist found the Whiskey Riff article, found the Twitter thread, and said, uh-oh, someone's onto us. And they just scrubbed it from all the platforms to make sure nobody found them out. Again, I think both theories kind of have good points behind them. The ideas are pretty cogent for both of them, but I personally think the second explanation, a third party, would make more sense. What do we make of all of this? Personally, I'm glad that these songs are taken down. I think they're terrible and they needed to go as soon as possible. But there's some serious implications behind this situation. What if it happens in the future? Why were they allowed to stay on streaming platforms for so long? People knew about this. Again, articles, Twitter thread, Reddit threads. I found this out from someone telling me. It's been a while that these songs are on here, and only now have they done something about it. Who created these fake artists and songs? Was it Spotify? Was it a third party? Again, we don't know. AI is only getting better. What in the future is going to happen to the music industry? What if it's so good we can't even tell it's fake next time? When I was researching this video, I found more artists than the ones that I listed on my spreadsheet. This goes really deep, and I really haven't had enough time to look into it. I'm going to continue looking into this, and hopefully we'll make a follow-up video if there's more information about it. But overall, this is a deep rabbit hole, and I don't think anybody's gotten to the bottom of it yet. I encourage you all to look up all of this information. Go check out the articles, go check out the spreadsheet, go do your own research, and if you guys find anything, put it in the comments, make your own videos and tag me, post it on Twitter. Something has to happen about these AI artists, and I don't know how deep the rabbit hole goes. Thank you guys for watching my video. This is actually my first YouTube video. I've never done this before. I hope the editing was good. I hope my commentary was good. This isn't just a YouTube video about some stupid YouTube drama or some situation that happened in the past. I am very passionate about this. I'm a musician based in Nashville, Tennessee. I play guitar as well as a number of other instruments. I play with artists. I have a lot of friends who are artists, and one day I hope to be an artist myself. I really hope a lot of people watch this video, not just for my sake, but for the sake of countless artists who are out there working really hard. How can the artists in this industry, writing music, networking, paying hundreds or thousands of dollars to get their songs produced and put on Spotify, expect to make it when AI artists can put out cheap covers of songs that aren't even theirs and get millions of views? It's ridiculous, and frankly, this really needs to get out there. So I urge you, if you're an artist, if you're a musician, if you're in any way related to the music industry, make some noise, because this is not okay.